First off, we have Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron got his introduction into Hollywood at a very young age, as he was a child star and appeared in many different TV shows and films. He's best known for his role as Mike Seaver in the hitcom Growing Pains for 7 seasons, but also appeared in movies like Father Like Son and Listen to Me. However, Kirk Cameron is hardly known as an actor anymore and more known these days for his radical religious views. He speaks all day long about his beliefs toward religion, and more, which has led him to being essentially blacklisted from a lot of Hollywood. Whether he's doing interviews on TV shows or social media, Cameron cannot keep his religious views and beliefs to himself. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic, Kirk Cameron faced criticism for organizing at least 2 events in South California where dozens of maskless people stood shoulder to shoulder to sing Christmas carols in protest of state and local stay-at-home mandates. I'm getting ready to go out in 38 minutes. It's T-minus 38 minutes for our Christmas caroling peaceful protest, Cameron said in an Instagram post in advance of an event held in the parking lot of the Oaks Mall in Thousand Oaks, California. We're going to be celebrating our God-given liberties, our constitutionally protected rights at this time at Christmas to sing Christmas songs, to gather, assemble, and to sing about the birth of our Savior. The Oaks Mall posted a statement to Twitter: "We do not condone this irresponsible yet constitutionally protected peaceful protest event planned. We share your concern and have notified the sheriff's office. As well, we have reached out to the event planner to ask that they do not use the Oaks as their venue." Next up, we have Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was a huge star in the late 90s and early 2000s, appearing in films such as Bedazzled and The Mummy. However, Fraser's role started to become less frequent as the 2000s wore on, and the actor blames an encounter with the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association as the reason for his blacklisting. According to Brendan, he was violated by Philip Burke at the Beverly Hills Hotel in 2003 and claims that because he resisted his advances, the HFPA has rarely invited him back to the Golden Globes ever since. Burke denies Fraser's version of events, claiming in his 2014 memoir that he pinched his behind as a joke. Brendan admits that other factors may be at play for his decreased work volume, but still feels that his encounter with Burke was a significant factor. The phone does stop ringing in your career, and you start asking yourself why. There are many reasons, but was this one of them? I think it was, he said. Next up, we have Rosanne Barr, a vocal supporter of Donald Trump's presidency. Actress and comedian Rosanne Barr is one of Hollywood's most controversial figures, but her outspoken political Twitter rants finally went a step too far in 2018 when she wrote a tweet about Valerie Jarrett, a senior advisor to former President Barack Obama. Though Barr later deleted the tweet and issued an apology, ABC promptly canceled the Roseanne reboot the very same day, with the company's president labeling her remarks awful, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. Next up, we have Ellen DeGeneres. 2020, reports of a toxic workplace on set of The Ellen Show kept coming and coming, and eventually some celebrities even spoke up, some stating that they were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen until the cameras started rolling. Of her experience on the show, YouTuber Nikki Tutorial said, "Maybe I'm being naive, but I expected them to welcome me with confetti. Welcome to the Ellen Show. But instead I got greeted by an angry intern who was a bit overworked," she recalled. "I expected a Disney show, but I got Teletubbies after dark." Next up, we have Mel Gibson. While he made a triumphant return as a director with Hacksaw Ridge in 2016, Mel Gibson is still largely blacklisted from Hollywood screens. I doubt we see him act that much at all going forward. Gibson was a very successful and popular actor and director throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. However, Gibson had some very public freakouts that damaged his career beyond recognition. After a drunk driving incident, he went on a giant anti-Semitic rant, which made huge headlines all over the world. 2 decades since the incident, and some fans have forgiven him, but many people, especially the Hollywood elite, will never forget the things that he has said and done. Next up, we have Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin is arguably the single greatest child star of all time. As a kid, he was cast as Kevin McAllister in the 1990 Christmas classic Home Alone, which became a massive commercial and critical success on the strength of his performance. In the years that followed, Macaulay became a staple of Hollywood, appearing in numerous other films and even scoring himself a role in a Michael Jackson music video. As Culkin grew, however, the number of roles which came his way greatly reduced. By the beginning of the new millennium, he was pretty much nowhere to be seen and would show his face only when caught up in some scandal involving substances, alcohol, and the various questionable ways in which he was spending his Home Alone fortune. Well, I'm sure every 90s kid would love to see Culkin cast in a major role today. Hollywood studios are reluctant to do business with him, owing to his eccentric behavior and the multitude of critical, quite often true things that he has said about the movie industry. Next up, let's discuss John Travolta. Having starred in such classics as Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and of course Pulp Fiction, John Travolta is undoubtedly Hollywood royalty. So why has his kingdom been so reluctant to do business with him in the past couple of years? There are a number of possible explanations, including persistent rumors of perverse, inappropriate behavior, but the most obvious reason for Travolta's career downturn has been his involvement in the Church of Scientology. Travolta has alienated many of his friends and professional contacts for the sake of his religion, branding them as, quote, suppressive people, and pretty much making sure he will never again work on a project in which the Church of Scientology does not have at least some input. Charlie Sheen sure had a good time running with his bad boy and dating and marrying such high-profile stars as Denise Richards, and being no stranger to substances, rehab, and run-ins with the police. But then came his little rant at 2.5 Men co-star Jon Cryer, which got Sheen axed from the successful sitcom. Asked not long after the outburst if he was bipolar, Charlie claimed he was bi-winning, which didn't exactly make casting directors anxious to call him. Perhaps trying to get past the unpleasantness, Charlie Sheen even acted under his birth name, Carlos Estevez, in 2013's Machete Kills. Charlie Sheen was written off 2.5 Men following 8 years of playing Charlie Harper on the CBS sitcom and reportedly making $2 million an episode. 2 months after Charlie was admitted to a rehab facility, the actor was fired due to his self-destructive behavior and offensive comments. How the network handled it. Ashton Kutcher was brought on as Walden Schmidt, who became the new comedic foil for Alan Harper. Sheen's character was revealed to have been hit by a subway train. Next up, we have Ezra Miller. DC Studios saw Ezra Miller, aka comic book history's most problematic, The Flash, plead guilty to 1-count misdemeanor unlawful trespass in a Vermont court. In exchange, the prosecution dropped felony burglary and larceny charges. The actor attributed their ongoing legal struggles as well as other terrible allegations to, quote, complex mental health issues. DC Studios has stood by them thus far and left the fate of the beloved character in purgatory for now. In April 2020, a video surfaced online of Ezra appearing to choke somebody at a bar in Iceland. A source later confirmed to Variety that the incident was, quote, a serious altercation at the bar, and that Miller was escorted off the premises as a result. 2 years after the incident, the woman from the clip shared her side of the story with Variety, saying that her banter with the actor about getting into a fight was meant as a joke, but her friend appeared to antagonize the situation when he told Miller that he heard the actor didn't want to fight. My friend did not have to say that, she told the outlet. It was just a joke, obviously, but Ezra took that literally and got super mad and came running outside. Lastly, we have Grey's Anatomy star Isaiah Washington. Apparently, Isaiah Washington, who was enjoying a rather decent long-term role on Grey's Anatomy in the first 3 seasons, went to the same school of not keeping your mouth shut as Rosanne Barr. During the 2007 Golden Globe Awards, Washington was heard to utter some rather choice homophobic words, which put a do not resuscitate on his contract for Grey's Anatomy. Washington has had many roles since then, But in his own words, they killed the actor and me on June 7th, 2007.
Number 10. Cleopatra. This ill-fated TV series, Cleopatra, hit the air this year and received some of the worst reviews in human history. The show, produced and narrated by Jada, was released on Netflix and quickly became one of the most mocked properties on the platform. The series starred a woman of color in the leading role of the titular Egyptian, which caused many fans to call the casting choice cultural appropriation. Ironically, Cleopatra has almost always been played by a non-Egyptian actor, with Elizabeth Taylor being the most famous portrayal of all time. On top of the controversial casting choice, the overall show was terrible, and many complaints centered around the lazy dialogue, the bad acting, the historical inaccuracies. There is a ton of problems with this show, the main one being that it was set in the wrong time period while claiming to be a historically accurate series. Netflix had to deal with a lot of hardships thanks to the series, literally turning off the comments on the trailer due to the alarming amount of racially fueled and hostile commentary. The show sits at about 2% on Rotten Tomatoes and is unfortunately one of the few productions that Jada has under her belt. When a show that could have been great tanks hard and it's your fault, Hollywood tends to blame the producers. Number 9. Separation. Cheating rumors and dating scandals have followed this couple throughout their entire relationship. Since day one, people have been convinced that they're in an open relationship or that they've been cheating on each other on and off basically the entire time. But it turns out that those rumors were somewhat true. Ahead of the release of her new book, Worthy, Jada sat down with People magazine to share some inside info. The most revealing was that herself and Will Smith have actually been separated for 7 years. Despite appearing to be a happy couple on the outside, the truth was that they decided to go their separate ways, emotionally speaking, a long time ago. Since 2016, Jada and Will have been living in the same house and appearing on red carpets together, but behind the scenes they actually just don't do anything. They just sit at home and just kind of chill. Considering the massive size of Will's house, it's pretty easy to imagine Jada choosing her own section and decorating it to her liking. She continued to say that she felt pressured into being with Will because it was mainly his idea to get together in the first place. 2 kids and 1 marriage later, and here we are. Hollywood doesn't take too kindly to people who can't make up their minds. Number 8. Red Table Talk. For those of you who may not know, and lucky you, Jada ran a talk show for roughly 5 years called Red Table Talk. Unless you were glued to Facebook Watch, you probably missed out on this one. In 2018, Jada invited her mother, Adrienne Banfield Norris, and daughter Willow Smith to join her in an open conversation spanning 3 generations of women. Unfortunately, her show tended to drift into too much information territory, discussing topics between the family that really shouldn't be talked about with family, especially on a camera. Another rough part of the series was that Jada would often bring in celebrity guests to also discuss these topics, as well as confront their issues that they might have had. She even brought her husband Will onto the show at one point just to discuss the infidelity scandal that had plagued their relationship, one of the most uncomfortable interviews in the show's history, and that is saying something. It was decided in April of this year that Red Table Talk would be cancelled and removed from the platform. When you have a show that you not only starred in but created from top to bottom, it's 100% your fault when it eventually gets cancelled. The show is currently looking for a new home in the world of streaming, but has yet to land on one, thankfully. Number 7. After Earth. In 2013, Jada helped produce a film starring her husband Will and her son Jaden Smith. Will Smith came up with the idea for After Earth while watching a science show on TV. It's very special. Eventually, this evolved into a science fiction story that takes place in the year 1000 AE, or 1000 years after the human race has left the planet because of pollution and global warming. The plot featured a father and his teenage son who crash land on Earth, and the teenager must save his injured father on what has become a hostile planet. Yeah, I got bored talking about it. Smith developed the movie as a star vehicle for his 14-year-old son Jaden. The actor sold his post-apocalyptic vision to M. Night Shyamalan, and this high-budget vanity project was just a family affair. There was Jaden, Will, Jada, and even Jada's brother Caleb Pinkett Smith was a key member of the production. The $130 million Smith family movie hit the big screen in 2013, and it was horrible and scored 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics lambasted basically every single detail, including the plot that was just boring and lifeless. Number 6. TMI. One thing that really did not need to be told to the entire world was the fact that Jaden Smith likes to do ayahuasca in his spare time and introduced his mother to the hallucinogen. In her tell-all interview promoting her tell-all book, she revealed that her son Jaden saved her life after introducing her to the ceremony during a dark time. While Jaden did not do it all the time, he had heard about the process and its benefits for mental health issues and suggested that, they give it a shot. She claims that after only a handful of uses that her negative thoughts went away. But Jaden has released a statement along with his sister begging their mother to stop saying things all the time, keep some family stuff private. Jaden did not need the entire world to know his business or the business of his friend who gave him the advice when the substance is super illegal in most parts of the US and, the world. Jaden has every right to ask for some privacy. His entire life has been broadcasted for the world to see since the moment he stepped in front of a camera. Jada, chill. Number 5. The Nutty Professor. The Nutty Professor is a comedy classic from the legendary performer Eddie Murphy based on a film from 1963 of the same name starring Jerry Lewis as the leading man. In the 96 remake, Jada Pinkett Smith portrayed Eddie's love interest, Carla Purdy, and despite the film being this light-hearted romp sharing the message of self-love, people hated Jada in the movie. Of all the actors on the screen, Jada is the most out of place. While there wasn't a slew of massive A-listers on command, the cast involved did do a great job and everyone had their own little moments. However, Jada just kind of felt out of place. Her acting career has been limited over the years and probably for good reason, especially when you put her next to a comedy legend like Eddie Murphy. That would be like putting Jim Carrey and a tired sloth in a room together and telling them to have a rap battle. Jim Carrey's gonna win. Her performance in the film was enough to make securing work hard in the following years, but as you've seen and will continue to see, Hollywood gave her a second chance time and time again. Number 4. Gotham. Gotham is an underappreciated series from the world of DC Comics and I really recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's set in Gotham City before Bruce Wayne becomes Batman and we follow a young Jim Gordon as he deals with the criminals roaming Gotham streets. People like the Riddler, the Penguin, and of course, Jada Pinkett Smith as mob boss Fish Mooney. DC is great with names. Fish. The character acted as the frenemy of the Penguin, but whenever Jada was next to her co-star, Robin Lord Taylor, she was outshined every single time. In fact, she was outshined by basically everybody on that show. Anyone she stood next, even the extras. Her character was meant to be a scary bad guy that strikes fear into the hearts of those who encountered her, but instead Jada delivers this monotone performance that the producers quickly noticed. By the end of season 3, Fish was written out of the story and left to rot on the dock. Number 3. Scream 2. I want to start off by saying Scream 2 is not a bad movie, okay? The Scream franchise is actually pretty solid and is considered to be one of the best horror series of all time. Ghostface is iconic and so is Jada's only good scene in the film when she's taken out by Ghostface. Spoiler alert! In Scream 2, Jada Pinkett Smith plays one of the ill-fated teens, Maureen Evans. While this was actually one of her few decent performances, spoiler alert, I already said that, her character perishes towards the end of the movie. Yeah. She's taken out in a very graphic and public fashion. While watching the fictional Scream film in theaters, Jada cuddles up to who she thinks is her boyfriend, but is actually Ghostface in disguise. She gets repeatedly jabbed while the same thing is happening to a character on screen. And while this is one of the better scenes in Scream's history, it was the only scene where Jada came across as a good actor, and she was just kind of screaming and tumbling the whole time. The argument can be made that most young actors just kind of play themselves on screen, but sometimes it just feels like Jada forgot the camera was even rolling. Number 2, Oscars confusion. Now that all of this information about Jada and Will has been leaked into the world by Jada herself, one major question still lingers on everybody's mind. If she hasn't been with Will Smith for like 7 years, why did he feel that it was necessary to defend Jada and strike Chris Rock at the Oscars? Many fans have flooded social media with questions and concerns surrounding this incident from 2022. If you don't remember, Chris Rock made fun of Jada for being bald and Will Smith went up on stage and he took care of him, you know? If he had been attending Chris Rock's stand-up special, who knows what would have happened. It was fantastic, but you gotta look that one up to know what I'm talking about. Despite Will claiming that playing the role of King Richard had left him in an odd mental state, it was really no excuse for his outburst, especially if he had not been romantically involved with Jada in years. The main point being made by some people online is that despite Will and Jada separating, they remained close friends. So in that instance, Will was defending his very good friend, but there's still no excuse for causing playing Marty the Zebra Payne. Marty the Zebra from Madagascar. It's a great movie. Will has claimed that he tried to reach out to Chris following the Oscars, but that he was told that Chris wasn't ready to talk. Either that or he was ready, but he knew that he would fly off the handle the second that he heard Will's voice. And at number 1, her biases. When the Oscars So White controversy erupted in 2016, Will and Jada were among the most vocal critics of the Academy. For the second year in a row, all 20 of the actors nominated in the leading and supporting roles were white, something that hadn't happened since 1998. Jada released a very publicized video explaining why she was boycotting the Oscars that year, hoping to shine a spotlight on institutional racism. However, the majority of Hollywood didn't appreciate the things that she was saying about them, not to mention, during an episode of Red Table Talk, the actress confessed her own tendency to judge others based on their race, revealing that she specifically had a problem with white, blonde women. According to Jada herself, blonde hair on a woman just sets her off, and she's had to hold herself back a few times. She went on to reveal that she had actually turned down several interviews over the years just because the person who was interviewing her was a blonde white lady. She claims that her bias is due to her history of being bullied by women with those physical traits growing up. Regardless of why she hates them, blonde white women make up a lot of Hollywood, so kinda makes sense that Jada would be placed on the do not hire list. Number 10. Modeling meltdown. Cara has had a rough couple of years. The model/actress sparked major concerns with a series of very disheveled public appearances in the past few years. A little while back, a distressing video of Cara at Van Wee Airport went viral, which showed the star behaving erratically and out of sorts. She was seen dropping her phone several times, she was shaking, and she was unable to stand still. But people really started to wonder what was going on when she failed to show up in New York City for the launch of her own fashion collection. She also didn't show up to the Emmy Awards alongside the cast of Only Myemes in the Building. I'm not allowed to say the actual title. Cara also came under fire for her behavior at the Billboard Music Awards in 2022, where she appeared to be following Megan Thee Stallion everywhere she went. Several of the model's antics ended up going viral following that show, including her appearing around a corner and ducking in and out of Megan's photos while sticking her tongue out and shouting. Now, I don't know if that would be horrifying or hilarious. Now, it's hilarious. I kind of want to see that now. Number 9. The Squad 2016. In 2016, Cara participated in one of the worst superhero movies to ever be made. The Suicide Squad was a wonderfully mediocre by-the-numbers action movie that had the thinnest plot of all time. Cara played the main villain of the film, the Enchantress. Now, while she was nowhere near the worst person on camera, her decision to take the role in the first place was a major red flag for future producers. The worst part about the project was that there's actually this really good movie somewhere in the servers of DC, but the studio executives were so heavily involved that most of the director David Ayer's ideas were just kind of left on the cutting room floor. Do we still have cutting rooms? Cara has actually mentioned many times over the years since that she had a ton of fun on set of the film. She became very close with Harley Quinn, aka Margot Robbie, as well as Will Smith's mercenary character. The Enchantress spends most of the movie looking over a sky beam while her million-eyed minions take out the squad. As I said, her role wasn't even close to the reason this movie bombed so hard. The crew were just doing the best they could with what they had, but unfortunately this is one of the biggest movies that she's ever participated in, which made her a little questionable to studio executives. Number 8. Best battle rapper around. In 2016, Cara took part in a segment on the Late Great Late Show with James Corden called Drop the Mic. Now, I truly had a difficult time scripting this entry because it's just so freaking funny, man. It's only 7 minutes and I rewatched it 3 times. Now, I'm not sure who wrote the words for this bit. Maybe it was them, maybe not, but these were some truly devastating roasts. She had some perfect comebacks to James Corden. James started off his battle rap with the lyrics, "You're perfect for Suicide Squad, I'm being heartfelt, because when I see you try to act, it makes me want to end myself." Harsh for sure, but Cara was quick to retaliate. She said, "End yourself? You promise that's a fact? I've never heard of a better reason to act. I can see now the headlines all about me, Cara Delevingne, the woman who saved late night TV." Oh, just so good. Dave Franco was also involved in the rap battle, dropping some hardcore roasts on James and Cara. Now, I'm not going to quote all of the highlights because this clip is genuinely worth your time to watch. Cara's quick comebacks had many audience members in awe. This woman understood the assignment. Unfortunately, a lot of people in Hollywood felt the words to be harsh on all parts. But Cara won the battle, so she really stuck out as the one to, kind of watch out for. Number 7, distracts her co-stars. Cara is known to throw her co-stars off from time to time, but her true kryptonite is Margot Robbie. Kryptonite's the green stuff that Superman doesn't like. The pair starred together in DC's live-action Suicide Squad, which I previously mentioned, and of course Margot portrayed the clown queen of Gotham, Harley Quinn, and she still does to this day, doing it super well. While Cara spends the majority of the film making a sky beam in the subway. The movie was awful, but it was not the fault of the cast, who actually worked really well together, and they were literally the only good thing about the movie. Since the cast worked so well on screen though, they decided to spend more time off screen together, even getting tattoos to commemorate their shoot. That's a tattoo they must regret now. Cara has been asked if she would ever collaborate with Margot on future DC projects, but has maintained that the chances of it happening are pretty unlikely. Not only did she despise the end result of Suicide Squad, but she's unable to maintain her composure around Margot, and just claims that she would break too often for it to be a smooth shoot. So James Gunn, hey buddy, can you cast Cara in a sequel and give her less CGI this time? Can you do that? That'd be great. Number 6, John Hardy photo shoot. As many may know, Cara is famous worldwide for her beauty, being a model as well as an actress for most of her career. In 2014, she partook in a little photo shoot with John Hardy. The photos that came from the shoot were stunning, however the actual session to take the pics was a little bit different. When you see these models' photos, you automatically assume that they're taken during like a serious moment, or that there was not a single giggle on set. Well, Cara could not stop laughing. The team encouraged her to be weird and silly, so she did exactly that. The footage from the shoot day shows Cara dancing in the sand, making goofy faces, and being the chaotic good that the world knows her as. The photos took a lot longer to take than most shoots though, but it was well worth the trouble. Maybe the reason that she won't get casted anymore is because she's so distracting and fun. That's a good reason. It's a very good reason. Number 5, built-in detector. Okay, I'm sorry if you hate Cara Delevingne. If you made it here, you probably don't. That's great, because this entry is not for you if you hate her. This woman made me giggle so much while writing the script, especially this entry. This entry involved an interview between Cara, Margot Robbie, and Karen Fukuhara while promoting the release of Suicide Squad. These three together are just a ton of fun, and it's obvious why they all said that the production of the film was such a great environment despite it being a terrible movie. Well, in the middle of the interview, the conversation somehow shifts to the topic of those little things that everybody has on their chests. You know, I can't say the name of it, but it rhymes with ripple. Cara got so excited about the topic and said confidently that she could find anyone's ripple in the moment, claiming to have a built-in ripple detector. Margot challenges her to prove it, and Cara proceeds to pinch Margot, Karen, and the interviewer, Christine Gijbels, just right on the ripple. She actually was pretty accurate. She found them like right away, proving that she does in fact have a built-in detector. I can't think of many celebrities who have done something like that and still looked good afterwards, because that's usually associated with anger or something, but in this case it just seems like Cara being Cara. Number 4, Cara needs a Red Bull. Cara is a gifted actor and overall seems like a solid human being. So much like the rest of us, she gets tired and annoyed from time to time. Unfortunately, that feeling took place on live TV when she was promoting her movie Paper Towns. While making an appearance on the early morning show Good Day Sacramento, the interview did not get off to a great start. The program's anchor called her Carla, and then she spent the next few minutes trying to get information out of Cara, but was failing miserably. She was falling deep into those anchor role tropes, just like, hey, oh wow, that's amazing. Hey, listen, Carla, did you even read the book that this thing's based on, or do you even have time to read? Because you're so busy. She was very sarcastic with each answer to the fairly generic questions. Do you relate to the character? What was your favorite moment? Blah, blah, blah. It was then that a third anchor abruptly popped in and asked Cara if she was exhausted, as she seemed to be a little bit more excited to talk about the project a few weeks prior in London. She giggled and said that she was fine. Apparently the premiere of the film had been the night before, which she claimed to feel like the end of an era. So she was just really emotionally drained. But the anchors do not know when to quit, and one of them then suggests that she may be irritated, or maybe it was just them. Oh no. They then cut the interview short and told her to take a nap and get a Red Bull. She can be heard saying that that's a bit too far before the news anchor screeches over her and they shut her down. Now, according to Cara, there really was no bad blood here. She was just sick of answering the same questions over and over again, and like I said, she was just emotionally drained. But following the interview, the guy who popped in and was like, hey, how you doing, was fired for causing such a tense situation on live TV. So it probably didn't look great that Cara got a dude fired for being, I don't know, herself. Number 3, Planet X with Cara. Cara is the host of a Netflix series called Planet SEX with Cara Delevingne, and I feel like a child every time I have to spell that. Just let me say it. The series follows Cara exploring life's biggest questions about human lovemaking and examining issues with relationships, the consumption of adult films, and the physical appeal of person to person. The series is considered to be a refreshing documentary exploring something that not traditionally gets discussed every day. The show contains a good mix of scientific information as well as personal stories, and Cara is a wonderful host who finds it very easy to connect with her guests. The content of the series, though, has raised a few eyebrows, with the main concern being that it might tarnish her reputation as a serious dramatic actor. That was all bull though, as the show not only received incredible reviews, but she's even been praised for having the tough conversations. But hey, since the internet had a debate about it, I gotta put it on this list. Number 2, Wired. The Wired autocomplete interview has become a very popular format online. Essentially, celebrities just kind of answer the most Googled questions online. Cara took her turn on the show while doing promotions in 2016. Her interview is not only one of the shortest ones to be posted on the channel, but it's also the most uncomfortable. There are a lot of questions that they could use for these interviews, but of course they're forced to use popular searches. And it turns out that the world has the most vanilla Google searches ever when it comes to Cara. Cara answers where she's from, what she's been up to, all that jazz. Thankfully, Cara's bubbly personality made the interview just a little bit more exciting, but the only truly negative thing to come out of this one was the waste of her time filming it. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, I assume you realize that this woman is awesome, but hey, you wouldn't click a video called Top 10 Reasons Why Cara Delevingne is the Best? If you would, please tell us, we could do that. Number 1, Silly Billy. Taking the top spot on this list is just the summarization of Cara as a person, and probably the main reason that she's, only worked here and there over the last few years. She's just a silly Billy. I know I'm supposed to hate on her, but she deserves none of it. In doing research for this video, I found so much footage of this woman making people's day brighter or making them laugh until they cry. And besides, a quick Google shows that she is in fact working pretty hard and is actually about to be in a season of American Horror Story with Kim Kardashian. And I wish them both all the luck in the world. There's already enough hate out there right now in the world, so for now let's aim it at the people who actually deserve it. Like whoever keeps trying to make new Oreo flavors. The original one is fine.
And at number 10, Jesse Smollett. Jesse Smollett was best known for his role on Empire at the time of his scandal, although he was not a household name. But his fame exploded to new heights when he alleged that 2 white men, who were wearing MAGA hats, attacked him, shouting racist and homophobic slurs. The whole world supported him, and he became somewhat of a figurehead against racial hate, until it was revealed that it was all a lie, and he actually paid 2 men to attack him. After it was revealed that he faked everything, the city of Chicago sued him for filing a fake police report, as well as the cost of investigating the attack, for over $130,000. On February 11th of 2020, Smollett was indicted again by a Cook County grand jury on 6 counts pertaining to making 4 false police reports, and he was of course blacklisted from the industry. He was just found guilty of his crimes and will be serving time behind bars, and he will obviously never work in Hollywood again. And at number 9, Josh Duggar. Josh Duggar has finally been found guilty for his crimes and is now facing up to 40 years in prison for his charges. The former reality TV star, known as a sibling on the show 19 Kids and Counting, was sentenced and he will be charged in Arkansas. I can't exactly tell you what his charges are, or the video could get flagged, but he was charged with receiving and possessing illegal content of. After the guilty verdict, Duggar's lawyers made a statement saying, quote, "We appreciate the jury's lengthy deliberations, we respect the jury's verdict, and we intend to appeal." He's since been taken into custody, but his sentence has not been determined. Since the guilty verdict, Josh's sister, Jana Duggar, has also been arrested on similar charges. Since the family is now disgraced, nobody will want to hire them again. In at number 8, Travis Scott. Travis Scott has been blacklisted from the music industry following the tragic Astroworld festival that took place in Houston. As of now, 10 people have passed away following the festival, while hundreds are injured. After the festival, fans realized this problematic behavior was not a one-off, and Travis had encouraged rowdy and dangerous behavior in the past. Scott and the concert organizers are now getting sued in a mountain of lawsuits that equal to potentially billions of dollars in payouts. Since it's unclear who's legally at fault for the tragedy, no concert venue or insurance agency will ever want to work with Travis again, as the liability is just not worth it. Many have speculated that Travis could even go bankrupt because of the money he's going to be paying out. Travis also did an interview with Charlemagne the God where he took zero accountability for what happened. All of this just proves that Travis will not have a career when this is over. And at number 7, Joe Gorga. Joe Joe Gorga is currently performing a comedy set around the country, but at a show earlier this month, his performance was so bad that his wife Melissa had to pull him off the stage. Melissa and Joe are best known from their time on Real Housewives of New Jersey. While he was performing a stand-up set at the Governor's Comedy Club in Long Island, his performance got messy real quick. After Melissa yanked him off the stage, Joe submitted a statement through his manager, saying in part, quote, "This was not my typical show. As I share my many life lessons in my stand-up routine, now I can add this one. Don't mix alcohol with Sudafed." He says he was not feeling well and decided to take something so that he would still be able to perform for his fans. But after he had a few drinks, his body did not react as well to the mix as he had hoped, and he started acting a little loopy. Joe said in the statement that he doesn't often take cold medicine and that his wife had not seen him like that, which is why she approached the stage to get him off. After this, who knows if he will be hired again by the venue. And at number 6, Drake. Drake and Kanye made huge waves in the rap community when they squashed their beef and came together to perform at the Free Larry Hoover benefit concert. Fans online said it was the concert of the year and were raving about Kanye's set. Some even said that it was his best performance ever. But sadly, Drake did not get that kind of response, and fans were disappointed and even embarrassed by Drake's performance. The big issue was that Kanye made a point to play a lot of his classic hit songs, while Drake practically only played music from his most recent release, Certified Lover Boy. One fan even joked that based on his set, Drake does not want Larry Hoover to be free. Drake has not responded to all the criticism, but I'm sure it's taken a hit to his ego. Halfway number 5, Chris Cuomo. CNN's Chris Cuomo has officially been fired from his network after an investigation uncovered the anchor helped his brother disgrace Governor Andrew Cuomo during his scandal. Earlier they announced that he was going to be suspended, barring the results of the investigation. But partway through the investigation they had uncovered enough to fire him. CNN wrote, quote, "While in the process of that review, additional information has come to light. Despite the termination, we will investigate as appropriate." This all comes on the heels of an investigation by the New York Attorney General's office, which suggested that he was heavily involved in his brother's scandal. Following his termination, reports are coming out that Chris was accused of sexual harassment, and that's a part of the reason for his termination. So it's clear that no network will want to touch him. In at number 4, James Corden. James Corden is the beloved host of The Late Late Show. He's produced viral segments like Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts and Carpool Karaoke. But a lot of people don't know that he started out as an actor, and he wants to do more of it in the future. But unfortunately, the public does not want this for him, and is doing everything possible to keep him away from their favorite musicals. He was a part of the live remake of Cats, which was a disastrous failure. Then after it was announced that Ariana Grande was going to be acting in the big screen version of Wicked, the public was worried that James Corden might try to get involved. So someone started a petition called, quote, "Keep James Corden out of Wicked." The bio for the petition simply stated, "James Corden in no way, shape, or form should be in or near the production of Wicked the movie." That's pretty much it, and almost immediately got over 50,000 signatures, so it's clear that James will not be hired for any more musicals in the future. In at number 3, Ice Cube. With the new rules surrounding vaccines in the workplace, some Hollywood stars have been kicked off new movies because they refused to get the shot. Ice Cube has officially stepped away from Sony's upcoming comedy, Oh Hell No, in which he would have co-starred with Jack Black, because he refused to get the shot. The cast was set to start filming this winter in Hawaii, but it was required that all parties on set get the vaccine. Apparently Ice Cube walked away from $9 million. Until vaccine mandates are lifted from production, it seems like Ice Cube will not be working. And at number 2, Steve Burton. General Hospital star Steve Burton confirmed on Instagram that he had been fired from his long-running role on the show over refusal to get the vaccine. After rumors had been swirling, he took to Instagram to clear up any rumors. He said, quote, "Unfortunately, General Hospital has let me go because of the vaccine mandate. I did apply for my medical and religious exemptions, and both of those were denied, which hurts. But this is also about personal freedom to me." Apparently, the whole talk about mandates happened after Burton tested positive for COVID back in August, and production was shut down. After that occurrence, the vaccine mandate was created. General Hospital is currently the only soap drama that has the vax mandate. The other 3 main soaps are using regular testing and social distancing to prevent the spread. And finally, at number 1, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson has been accused of horrific crimes by multiple of his ex-partners. Actress Evan Rachel Wood posted to her Instagram on February 1st of 2021, exposing that she had been by Manson. In the long statement, she said that he started engaging with her while she was only a teen, and she was, quote, "brainwashed and manipulated into submission." She then claimed that she did not want to live in fear, and she wants to expose him before he does more harm. Concluding, quote, "I stand with the many women who will no longer be silent." Wood, who was 33, met Manson when she was 18 and he was 36 back in 2007. They later got engaged in 2010 for 8 months until the relationship ended. This statement on Instagram came as 4 other women have recently come forward with allegations against Manson. Manson has denied the allegations, but he still has been blacklisted until these legal matters are sorted out. Wood even recently revealed that Manson threatened to hurt her 8-year-old son. The only person who has collaborated with him since the allegations was Kanye West, and nobody else in the music business wants anything to do with him.
At number 10, Jussie Smollett. Former Empire star Jussie Smollett made headlines a little while back after faking an attack for attention. Jussie made a claim that he was attacked by a group of people as a hate crime, but after further investigation, it was discovered that the entire altercation was made up by the actor. As a result of the scandal that followed, Jussie was let go from Empire and has been hard-pressed to find work elsewhere. The reason why he made up this altercation was an attempt to get a pay raise from the producers of the show, as he was not happy with the salary that he was already making. Now, Hollywood executives know him as someone who will do some shady things to get what he wants, including filing a false police report and faking an assault just to get people to get him more attention. After the incident, Jussie started losing a lot of work and his career hasn't really picked up much since, with some sources saying that he might be blacklisted. At this rate, 2022 might be as challenging as 2021 was for the actor, and Hollywood might not have a place for him in the coming year. At number 9, Johnny Depp. Actor Johnny Depp has really been going through it lately. He went through a high-profile legal case and a lot of information was exposed, but even after the legal battle against the Sun publication was over, he started losing work. First, he was asked to step down from his role as Grindelwald in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film, and fans found out that he had been blacklisted from Disney as well because of the scandal that is still ongoing with Amber Heard. Now, even though many people are siding with and trying to defend Johnny, it doesn't seem to be making much effect in Hollywood. Fortunately, because of Johnny's image and the media at the moment, it doesn't look like he's going to book many roles in 2022. On top of that, he's still dealing with a lot of legal cases with Amber right now, so acting might not be his top priority at the moment. We might not see much from Johnny in 2022, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Before we carry on talking about some celebrities who might not find work next year, why not take some time to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel as well to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne is no stranger to having a bad reputation in Hollywood. She's been facing backlash since she was a Disney star, and things have just escalated from there. Because she's viewed by many as problematic, Hollywood may be hesitant to hire her for upcoming projects because of how people view her. Just in the last little while, Bella has been in the news for a number of scandals. Last summer, Bella faced backlash for her OnlyFans scam, where she scammed her fans into paying upwards of $200 for content that they weren't happy with, and even prompted a company policy change that affected other creators on the platform. She was also involved in some Twitter beef with her ex Tana Mojo because she released a diss track about her, and not too long ago, Bella also faced even more backlash as she publicly defended Armie Hammer and the leaked DMs that exposed his bedroom fantasies. Bella just has a way of rubbing people the wrong way, and since she's faced so much backlash just in the last year alone, I feel like Hollywood is gonna pass on her for a little while, so she might not book much in 2022. At number 7, Hartley Sawyer. Hartley Sawyer is one actor who might never come back to Hollywood after he got exposed for his incredibly offensive tweets back in 2020. Hartley, who's best known for having played Ralph Dibny, aka the elongated man on the CW's The Flash, faced a heck of a lot of backlash when many of his past tweets were brought to light. These tweets, which span as far back as 2009, highlight Hartley's offensive attempt at humor, many of them including racist, sexist, homophobic, and even violent messages. These tweets were brought to light during the Black Lives Matter movement that saw a big jump in support last summer, and as fans dug deep into many celebrities' lives, this was one of the biggest stories of celebrity exposure to come out during that time. As a result of these offensive tweets, Hartley was fired from his role on The Flash and hasn't been seen on social media since issuing an apology for his actions. Because of the reputation he now has for being offensive, combined with the fact that he's been out of Hollywood for so long, I have a feeling that Hartley won't be back in the spotlight for a long time, so 2022 might not be his year to return. At number 6, Stacey Dash. Known for her role as Dion in the 90s film Clueless, Stacey Dash rose to fame in the 90s, but since then she's hit rock bottom and is no longer welcome in the entertainment industry. Nowadays, the actress is known for being quite outspoken when it comes to her political views, and this is what led Hollywood to lock her out, so to speak, and she hasn't been in the acting world for years. Speaking out about her take on women's rights, Black History Month, segregation, and the quote-unquote bathroom bill, the actress has proven herself to be too much for even the likes of Fox News, for what she used to be a part of. Stacey would often come on air on Fox News to talk about whatever issues were being discussed, but in a turn of events, Fox News let her go after having haven't gone too far with her words, especially in reference to the abolishment of Black History Month. Some people have said that her extreme beliefs are what stopped Stacey from receiving any roles, and she's even said that she was dropped by her agent for being too problematic. Her views on gay and trans rights, as well as her opinion on race in Hollywood, have ultimately ended her career as an actress, so she definitely won't be welcomed back to Hollywood in 2022. At number 5, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is someone who is notoriously hated in Hollywood for quite a number of reasons. He's no longer considered for any Hollywood roles and hasn't been for a while, and he only seems to make an entrance into the industry when directing his own films since other studios don't want to work with him. He's been the subject of a number of controversies, from that of The Passion of the Christ for being anti-Semitic to career-damaging freakouts, driving under the influence, and a number of people coming forward to discuss Mel's racist and anti-Semitic views. Though he continues to be cancelled in Hollywood, he attempts to make a return every so often, but again, only through his own work. He's been facing controversy for decades, and no one has really forgiven him, so he remains banned from Hollywood and essentially banned from all other media networks. As the new year approaches, I'm sure we can all agree that Mel won't be booking anything in 2022. At number 4, James Franco. James Franco has slowly been losing respect in Hollywood to the point where he's losing work and connections in the industry. Things started to go downhill for the actor back in 2014 when he got into a scandal after he tried sliding into a fan's DMs, only to find out that she was actually 17 years old. James met a girl visiting New York City at an autograph signing outside of his Broadway show, and the two took pictures together, and she tagged him, which obviously led to him finding her Instagram and DMing her. The two talked for a bit, and after their conversation continued, James asked for her number, her age, her relationship status, and whether or not he should have booked a hotel room for the both of them. Luckily, nothing ever ended up happening between them, but the fan ended up exposing their conversation online, and James faced mild backlash. After that, people got a very different impression of the actor, and a lot of people started refusing to work with him as well. Because of his public image, he might not be seen in many productions in the new year. At number 3, Katherine Heigl. A lot of people don't like working with Katherine Heigl because of how rude she is. She's been known to be mean to people on set, have high demands, and just have a really bad attitude. She's known to be quite critical of the roles and material she's given, and she even brought this up when she withdrew from the Emmy nominations because she said that the material she was given for Grey's Anatomy didn't warrant an Emmy. That's certainly disrespectful to the writers, because for someone to say something like that implies that the writing wasn't good enough to please people, whereas the people at the Emmys thought it was worth the award. Katherine is also known to make ridiculously high salary demands, and apparently she's been doing this since before she became a big name in the industry. She's reportedly hired and fired a lot of publicists and assistants over the years, so she really sounds like quite the diva. Because of all this, directors and Hollywood execs don't want to work with her anymore because she's a nightmare to work with. People say that she's been blacklisted from Hollywood, so the chances of her booking anything substantial in 2022 are pretty slim. At number 2, Taylor Lautner. Taylor Lautner has been having a rough time in Hollywood lately. He's pretty much disappeared from the media, and many think that the actor has been blacklisted from Hollywood because no one wants to hire him. Since finishing up his time in the Twilight Saga, Taylor hasn't really seen much success. After the franchise ended, Taylor went looking for work, and at first, people were ready to offer him some good Hollywood parts. He was still a big name in the industry after he got so much fame from playing his character Jacob Black in the Twilight movies, but soon Hollywood executives realized that he's just not the powerhouse that they were expecting. The first few movies that he starred in tanked at the box office, and between this and his high asking salary, no one was keen on taking a chance on the actor. In the years since, he's appeared on some TV shows like Scream Queens, but other than that, we haven't really heard much from him. He recently got engaged, so maybe he's just focusing on living a simple life for now, so maybe we won't see him come back to Hollywood in 2022. And finally, at number 1, Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry made headlines this year after their interview with Oprah back in January. Since then, they've been in and out of the news, and a lot of people have wondered if Meghan will make her return to acting after leaving the royal family. She's already narrated a documentary about elephants that's on Disney+, but can we expect more from Meg? Well, the answer is maybe. Things might still be a little touchy with the actress and Hollywood because of all the drama surrounding her and the royal family, so we might not see much from her in Hollywood in 2022, but maybe sometime soon we will watch Meghan return to the spotlight once again.
And at number 10, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin's career is on the verge of being over after he accidentally shot 2 people on the set of the movie Rust, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Following the tragedy, the movie has been trying to piece together what exactly happened to cause this to occur. Blame has been placed on the assistant director, along with the armorer, but it seems that the set was full of safety concerns almost as soon as it started. And it was later discovered that other cast and crew members walked off the set before the shooting because of safety issues. As of now, the movie itself and Alec Baldwin are being sued by a number of parties. It's difficult to say how at fault he was in this situation, but at the end of the day, he is the one that fired the bullet, and until things are sorted out, he should not work on another project. And at number 9, Shia LaBeouf. FKA Twigs' real name Talia Barnett recently exposed that she endured a toxic and abusive relationship with Shia LaBeouf. She later decided to sue him for his harmful and manipulative actions, unearthing tons of stories where LaBeouf was toxic, reckless, and even put her life in danger. Apparently he was so controlling that she wasn't even able to look other men in the eye or he would get angry. She eventually had the courage to leave and is now hoping she gets justice for the terrible treatment that he put her through. The two parties are currently trying to settle their differences without a trial, but if not, it will be set for sometime in 2023. There have been no major updates in the case as of now, but singer Sia came forward during this time and revealed that Shia coerced her into an adulterous relationship with him. So clearly he has a history of mistreatment that must be resolved before he works in the spotlight again. In at number 8, Travis Scott. Travis Scott is public enemy number 1 following the tragic Astroworld Festival that took place in Houston. As of now, 10 people have passed away following the festival, while hundreds are injured. After the festival, fans realized this problematic behavior was not a one-off, and Travis had injured many of his fans in the past at his rowdy concerts. He and the concert organizers are now getting sued in a mountain of lawsuits that equal to potentially billions of dollars in payouts. Following this disaster, no concert venue or promoter will ever want to work with him again because the liability on his events will no longer be worth it. Many have speculated that Travis could even go bankrupt because of the money he's going to be paying out. There's even a potential for criminal charges depending on what is uncovered. And at number 7, Dave Chappelle. After his special Sticks and Stones, Dave Chappelle is at the center of a debate about whether comedians should be able to say offensive comments under the guise of comedy. It was clear that he had won because Sticks and Stones became the most watched stand-up comedy special of all time. Then he released The Closer in 2021 and was even more controversial in his stance on trans issues, reigniting the flames of cancel culture. Petitions were then filed asking Netflix to remove his special, along with Netflix employees leaving the company because they didn't agree with their decision to air the special. After The Closer was released, Chappelle tried to premiere a documentary but was not able to. He said, quote, "This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. When this controversy came about, The Closer, they began disinviting from these festivals, and now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, not nobody will touch this film." And at number 6, Tory Lanez. In July of 2020, Megan Thee Stallion was allegedly shot in the foot after a party at Kylie Jenner's house. A month later, she claimed that Tory was the person who did it. Tory has continued to deny this, but evidence keeps mounting against Lanez. The two are now in a legal battle as Megan wants him to be held accountable for his actions. Tory is currently facing 2 felony charges of assault with a semi-automatic firearm and carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, plus the charge of personally inflicting great bodily injury. If he is convicted, he could spend up to 22 years in prison. As of now, he has pled not guilty and has fought to speak about the case publicly, but the judge has denied this request. Tory was then brought out at the Rolling Loud Festival during a baby set, which was against Megan's restraining order because she was also performing at the festival. Because he violated this order, Megan is bringing him back to court. As of now, nobody wants to be affiliated with him. Halfway number 5, James Corden. James Corden is the beloved host of The Late Late Show, and he's produced viral segments like Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts and Carpool Karaoke. But a lot of people don't know that he started out as an actor and he wants to do more of it in the future. But unfortunately, the public does not want this for him and is doing everything possible to keep him away from their favorite musicals. He was a part of the live remake of Cats, which was a disastrous failure. Then, after it was announced that Ariana Grande was going to be acting in the big screen version of Wicked, the public was worried that James Corden might try to get involved. So someone started a petition called, quote, "Keep James Corden out of Wicked." The bio for the petition simply states, quote, "James Corden in no way, shape, or form should be in or near the production of Wicked the movie." That's pretty much it. And almost immediately it got over 50,000 signatures. So hopefully they listen to the public and don't hire him. And at number 4, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has been hailed the queen of shade on Twitter, and she wears that badge with honor. But in 2020 it was exposed that she did more than just shade people in the past, and she was more of a bully. Tons of her old tweets were unearthed where it was clear that she was attacking people for no reason at all. After the scandal, tons of her sponsors dropped her, and nobody wanted anything to do with her mean persona. At this point, people are worried that she doesn't deserve to have a platform if she's going to use it to attack other people. As of now, she is back tweeting following the massive scandal, but a lot of people don't want her back. And at number 3, Lea Michele. Lea Michele used to be the queen of musical theater, making a name for herself on the hit show Glee. But that all changed in 2020 when she got called out by plenty of her former cast and crewmates, saying she was a rude, entitled brat. The person who kicked this off was Samantha Ware. She started the entire downfall of Lea Michele, after she called out Michelle for the way she acted on the set of Glee. When Lea Michele posted tweets in support of George Floyd after his death, Ware decided to call out Michelle on the hypocrisy. She commented, quote, "Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell?" adding that Michelle was microaggressive towards her and even threatened her. After this, plenty more people of color that Lea had worked with came forward to expose her. As of now, she is laying low, but it doesn't seem that anyone wants to work with her. And at number 2, Marilyn Manson. Actress Evan Rachel Wood posted to her Instagram on February 1st, exposing that she had been by Marilyn Manson. In the long statement, she said that he started engaging with her while she was only a teen, and she was, quote, "brainwashed and manipulated into submission." She then claimed that she did not want to live in fear, and she wants to expose him before he does more harm, concluding, quote, "I stand with the many women who will no longer be silent." Wood, who is now 33, met Manson when she was only 18 and he was 36 back in 2007. They later got engaged in 2010 for 8 months until the relationship ended. The statement on Instagram came as 4 other women recently come forward with allegations against Manson. Manson has denied these allegations, but he has still been blacklisted until these legal matters are sorted out. The only person who has collaborated with him since the allegations was Kanye West. And finally, at number 1, Matt Damon. Matt Damon got cancelled after he revealed in an interview that he recently stopped using the F slur in conversation. He thought the media would praise him for the decision, but everyone was wondering what took him so long. During an interview, he shared a story about how his daughter urged him to stop using the F slur as it is homophobic. Apparently, he made a joke and his daughter got up from the table because she was so angry over his choice of words. Then after a talk, he decided to stop using the word. But that revelation instantly backfired, with people calling out the star for ever saying it in the first place. Damon then tried to clear the air and clarify that he never actually said the F slur. Damon said that he understood why his revelation, quote, led many to assume the worst, but he added that he had never used the slur personally, that the conversation with his daughter was not a personal awakening. After this, tons of people decided to boycott his new movie, although most people have since forgotten about the scandal.
At number 9, James Corden. This year, people learned that they not so secretly hate James Corden. The amount of times I saw James Corden trending on Twitter for people just talking about how much they hate him kind of says a lot about the actor and his place in Hollywood. The actor and late night host got in a lot of scandals this year, as I mentioned in one of our other videos, so another one in 2022 is probably a guarantee at this point, and that just means trouble for James's career. So far, James has faced backlash for his undermining of his employees at his late night show. He's faced backlash for the Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts segment, as well as he's been known to use traditional Asian foods as part of the gross foods category. On top of that, he's faced a lot of scrutiny for his Golden Globes nomination for his role in the movie Prom, where he played a gay character, because people thought that he used too many gay stereotypes in his performance. On top of that, a number of people who have worked with him or have had encounters with the host have made a lot of negative comments. About him, making him look like a pretty bad guy. The more bad press, the less people want to work with him, and because some fans have literally started making petitions to keep James out of certain big Hollywood productions, the executives might have to start listening to the fans and not hire James Corden. Before we carry on talking about the people Hollywood might not want to work with next year, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Gina Carano. Up next, we have another celebrity who has faced a lot of backlash this year for old Twitter posts. Known for her role on the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, actress Gina Carano began to face massive backlash for her social media posts that exposed her ideals and opinions that some people took offense to. Though there were a few posts that garnered a lot of negative attention, such as her comments on putting your pronouns in your social media bio, the one that was seemingly the last straw for her Disney career was a post that compared being a Republican to being a victim of the horrors of World War II, saying that Republicans are being persecuted because of their political beliefs. A lot of people took offense to this and led to more backlash and to her getting exposed for her unpopular opinions. Other posts that caused Gina to face scrutiny include her tweets about voter fraud in the US, as well as posts mocking people who wear masks amidst the pandemic. According to a source, the people behind the Mandalorian series had been looking for a reason to fire Gina because of her controversial social media presence, and so this exposure was allegedly the catalyst that led to them firing Gina from her role. Because of the nature of this scandal and the offensive things that were said, Gina might find it hard to find work in the new year if people still haven't forgiven or forgotten about her latest scandal. At number 7, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake started facing a lot of backlash this year, with fans of Britney Spears flooding his social media pages and demanding that he apologize after the way he treated her in the media after their breakup in the early 2000s. The Framing Britney Spears documentary that was released looked into the way that the pop star was shown in the media, from the paparazzi to interviews, and it dives deep into how this stardom affected her. A big part of the documentary explores Justin Timberlake's role in the media's mistreatment of Britney after their public breakup in 2002. After their relationship ended, Justin made Britney look like the villain in the relationship, accusing her of cheating and essentially weaponizing their breakup to boost his own career. This prompted the media to put a lot of blame and shame on Britney, who really didn't deserve it. Now that fans in the media are revisiting Justin's actions, there are a number of people calling for accountability, and this could hurt his career. Because of all of the drama that Britney faced this year, and combined with people digging into her past, the fact that Justin played a role in the media's mistreatment of the pop star may hurt his career and might make it harder to find work in the new year. At number 6, Jamie Lynn Spears. Another person whose career may be damaged after this drama with Britney Spears is her sister Jamie Lynn Spears, who got caught up in the scandal that was her sister's conservatorship case. There was a lot of family drama involved, as you could imagine, and instead of laying low, she stepped into the spotlight, and doing that attracted a lot of hate towards her. Many of Britney's fans criticized Jamie for not standing up for her sister and watching her suffer through the conservatorship for so long. Things took such a nasty turn for Jamie that it's damaged her relationship with Britney, and now with the massive amount of support that Britney had garnered over the last few months, an enemy of Britney is an enemy for everyone. Britney's fans are watching her sister like a hawk, waiting for one wrong move in order to cancel her, and this bad press probably wouldn't make Hollywood executives want to hire her over fears of bad publicity. At number 5, Chris Pratt. It seems like Chris Pratt is having a hard time in the media lately. Chris has been making headlines recently because people want him to be canceled. First, back in 2020, people were upset with the actor because he didn't publicly support Joe Biden, and a lot of people also took to criticizing his Christian faith. Now, someone's faith is no reason to hate someone, I will say, that is just absurd, but it still had a lot of people going off at him. On top of that, just recently, Chris faced backlash after he posted about his wife Katherine Schwarzenegger and how she gave him a gorgeous, healthy daughter, end quote. This had people running to his ex Anna Faris to support her because fans believed that Chris's comment was a dig at the fact that their son Jack was born premature and had to spend time in the NICU before being allowed to go home after he was born. People called Chris out for his choice of words, and they're using this as further fuel to use against the actor. I feel like with this tension bubbling up, 2022 might be the year that Chris Pratt actually gets canceled, and this might have a very big impact on his career. At number 4, Lea Michele. TV and Broadway actress Lea Michele was canceled in 2020 after a bunch of people came forward to expose her for her awful on-set behavior, and apparently she still remains canceled. Reports and accusations came out last summer detailing how she'd been known to disrespect people she's worked with in the past, and this all started at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, where one of Lea's former Glee co-stars, Samantha Ware, called Lea out on how the actress made her time on the show a quote, living hell. This ended up causing a chain reaction of other people coming forward to talk about their horror stories of working with the actress, with some revealing how she would disrespect and talk down to background actors on set, how she would delay production, and how she would refuse to talk to anyone face to face, and how she would even force them to speak with her assistant instead. Because of all this negative attention, Lea was canceled, and as I mentioned before, that cancel status still sticks. Lea hasn't been able to bounce back from that drama that went down last year, so 2022 might be another rough year for the actress's career. At number 3, Chris D'Elia. Another celebrity who might have a hard time finding work in 2022 is actor and comedian Chris D'Elia. The comedian remains canceled after he faced multiple allegations of misconduct and harassing girls online last year, and this whole scandal caused him to be essentially fired from Hollywood. After multiple women came forward to share their unpleasant experiences with the comedian, from unwanted advances to indecent exposure and gaslighting, Chris was caught and exposed for his actions, lost all support and credibility in the industry, and pretty much hit rock bottom. Though this scandal initially started last year, Chris is still facing more allegations in 2021, and a lawsuit was filed in early March accusing Chris of soliciting private photos from a young woman under the age of 18. Though this happened in 2014 when she was 17, she said that she was inspired by the other women who've come forward to tell her story and seek justice. Because he's been dropped by his talent agency and he's lost out on a Netflix special, it might be safe to say that he won't be working in Hollywood again anytime soon. At number 2, Ellen DeGeneres. Though many of us know Ellen DeGeneres as the famed talk show host, she is also an actress, having started her own comedy show as well as voicing Dory in Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. She certainly fits the criteria for this list, both for her work and for being cancelled. Last year, Ellen was exposed for creating a toxic work environment on The Ellen Show, and she was the recipient of a lot of negative attention and backlash in 2020. Rumors started circulating about Ellen not being as nice as she's portrayed as on TV, and soon former employees started coming forward with their own horror stories about Ellen and the work environment that they had to deal with. There were allegations of racial microaggressions, discrimination, and harassment on the part of Ellen as well as other higher ups in the company. For months, Ellen was being exposed for her toxic behavior and she faced a lot of flack for it, having to issue multiple apologies to make up for things. Stars who had been on The Ellen Show in the past came forward to talk about their experiences with the comedian, and many interviews were being picked apart by people online, digging up moments that show Ellen in a negative light. Basically, Ellen got exposed to the max and she lost credibility, her show tanked, and now it's ending. And because of all this, no one knows what the future holds for Ellen. And finally, at number 1, Shia LaBeouf. From what we've seen in the news over the years and from what we've heard from other celebrities, I think it's safe to say that Shia LaBeouf isn't doing too great in Hollywood right now. There are a lot of people who are still fans of the actor, but after hearing about his questionable and sometimes downright disrespectful actions, idolizing Shia probably isn't the greatest thing. He is someone who's faced a lot of allegations as of late. Last year, Shia faced allegations from his ex-girlfriend FKA Twigs after she filed a lawsuit against him detailing some of the encounters that she had with him. Twigs alleged that he threatened to crash a car with her in it if she didn't profess her love for him, and claimed that he would sometimes grab her so hard that she would bruise. Even singer Sia came forward with her own allegations against the actor, saying that she too had been emotionally damaged by Shia. On top of that, he was fired by Olivia Wilde from the upcoming film Don't Worry Darling, due to his alleged bad behavior, as people have cited that Shia is, quote, not an easy guy to work with. Because of all this bad press, I think it'll be tough for Shia to find work in Hollywood next year.